So it's been a couple of weeks since I brought you out here and showed you how I was pruning these primocanes, and that's what these are. These are the primocane berries, Primark Freedom. And since then I have gotten just a tremendous amount of new growth. They love to be pruned. Here's one here that really needs to be up under the wire. If you don't have a trellis, you really need one. If you grow blackberries, you need a trellis. This is the simplest, easiest trellis. I'll put a link to how to build that below the video. Simple. I mean, anybody can do it. And it holds up well. This is my probably third year to use this particular trellis. And although I should have put extra posts in, I've got a post there, got a post about 25 feet away, and I really should put a post about every 10, 12 feet, I think, because it sags just a little bit. Maybe you can see that. And it would not do that if I had an extra post right there. So been meaning to do that, just have not done that. But let me just show you the new growth that I am experiencing. Since not just since I pruned them, but since I fertilized them. I'm going to fertilize them one more time in the next few days. And that'll probably be it. I don't think we're going to get any more blackberries, even though we are getting some blooms. I'm not sure we're going to get any more berries because we've been having some cold nights, and we may just get an early frost. The night before last was 49 degrees. This morning was 55. Now it's going to warm up a little bit, but still, we're getting into the fall season where it just may be a little cool for blackberries to ripen. We're gonna get blooms, looks like, but still, I'm just not sure they're gonna get ripe. They certainly might, because our average first frost date is actually November 15th, but we have had them in the middle of October too. But just lots of new growth, all this really light green stuff that you see, not the dark green necessarily, but the light green stuff, that's all new growth. That's all new growth. New shoots, new canes, and I mean, they're just really going gangbusters. These are 3 feet tall, probably, getting real close to the wire there. As soon as they get another about 6 inches tall and I can get them back behind the wire, then I will I'll put the old machine to it, the old tape tying machine to it, and tape them up to the top wire of that trellis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with a tape tying machine, I'm telling you, it is the most handy tool you will ever buy, probably, for the garden. Just handy on obviously tying up blackberries, but also tying up tomatoes and cucumbers and anything that vines or climbs. It's just such a time saver. I can't imagine being without it. And I've already come through here recently, and some of these canes. And again, this is a fairly new cane. You can see the color of it. It's kind of purplish. That's fairly new. And I went ahead and trimmed it off at the top there. Pinched it off, and going to start expecting some laterals out of it. I think I can get pretty good lateral growth, even though it is getting a little cooler. So. But I just want to show you that fertilizing this time of year, or again, I fertilized maybe a month ago, I'm not sure exactly, several weeks ago, and it has done this. Well, I attribute the new growth to two things. First of all, I fertilized about a month ago, something like that, but also it's starting to get cooler. We just had a terribly hot summer. 100 plus degrees for 2-3 weeks almost, just about every day, and that's just it's just not usual for us. And the blackberries can deal with the heat. They like the heat, but they don't like it when it's just that intense for that long a period. So they I've lost some, and I think I lost them because of the heat. But some of these I forgot to trim off or just missed. That's the ones got some spent berries on it. And I showed you the last time we were here trimming off these canes that had the spent berries. Well, that one not only has spent berries, but it actually died. And that's something that I'm finding, not all the time, but quite a bit. And that is a primocane will make new berries on its primocane, and then sometimes that cane will die or just start looking kind of bad, like that one. Look like it wants to die. That one's got some spent berries on it. I missed that one too when I was out here pruning. I had so dang many. It was just hard to get them all. So I'll get that now. Because I'm not concerned. I'd rather have the lateral growth now, because I don't think we're going to have time to get any actual production. So, and I got plenty of blackberries in the freezer right now, so I'm not really wanting any more necessarily. But lots of new growth. That's brand new, brand new. So much of this brand new right there. It's about 3 foot tall. In fact, I just pinched that one off a little while ago. So it's up above the top wire and it gets pinched off. Lots and lots of new growth. So this time of year, depends on where you are, of course, but when it starts, if you're in the south, especially if it starts cooling off just a little bit, then it's a good time to fertilize and get that last growth spurt out of these blackberries before they go dormant or semi-dormant like they do. But still a good looking hedge of blackberries with all the cold weather we've had in the last 2 or 3 years. 2021 was really rough on them. And then this spring, I lost all the blooms off of them to a late frost when they were all bloomed out. So really didn't get any floricane berries this year at all. All the blooms pretty much got burnt off by the late frost, but I did get a bunch of primocane berries. So, and that's what you're looking at. Like I say, this is all new, fairly new growth. It got pinched off and then started growing these laterals. Man, that's what it does. That's why they love to be pruned. They love to be pruned so they can grow new stuff. And so if you're not pruning yours, man, you really should. I mean, you just don't know what you're missing out on as far as growth. That needs to grow another couple of inches so I can tape it about right there and get it above that wire. And then I'll pinch it off and it'll grow laterals. And I have no doubt that it'll grow some laterals, maybe not huge long ones, but some laterals before the frost. So anyway, fertilize now that it's cooling off in the south. Fertilize one last time, maybe twice. It depends, depends on what they look like and how when the frost actually hits. But fertilize at least one more time. I'm gonna use if I've got some in there, and I think I do. I'm gonna use that Haas Complete Organic. Put about a cup maybe in each one of these, and I'll come through here and hand water them. Try to get that fertilizer stirred in with the water hose. And but just wanted you to see the new growth from, again, 2 reasons, and that's the fact that they got. I see there's a cane that I hadn't pinched off. He's way above the wire. I'll pinch that dude off and he'll start making some laterals. Nice looking cane. I mean, some of these canes, there's one right there. I thought I pinched it, but I didn't. So I'm gonna pinch the top of it because it's about 6 inches above the wire. There it is, there's the wire. But they're really growing fast. I mean, this right now, maybe they just stayed kind of dormant because of the heat. But boy, once that heat left, man, they just, they're really going crazy. So this is a good time to fertilize, a good time to get you some lateral growth, which is gonna mean more berries next spring. Now, if you've got some laterals that are beginning to bloom like these are, I wouldn't cut them off necessarily. You can, and just and get you some lateral growth on the laterals. That's what they do too. But if you want to, try to get you a berry or two. Nothing wrong with leaving those blooms on there and trying to make you a berry. Depends on where you live. Depends on when the frost is coming to you. But these look good. Really, really starting to see some decent growth now that the heat has passed. And they've got a little fertilizer down in their belly, got a little food down in their belly, and I'm going to hit them one more time, probably today or tomorrow, with whatever I got in there. I'll have to look see what I got, and just to give them a little something to eat. May give them a little sniff of that 20-20-20 if I've got some, and I think I do. Maybe a couple of tablespoons in each one, and then water it in good. But something else in there too that's going to be a little more long-term, a little more. It's going to take a little longer to deteriorate or to dissolve and to feed the plant, and that will break down and it'll feed them for the next month or so, certainly into probably into the next frost for sure. You do need to fertilize, and this is a good time if you're in the south. Even if you're not, I think it's okay. I wouldn't overdo it, but a few tablespoons in each pot if you're in pots, or around each plant, maybe a couple of 3 tablespoons, and and I don't think you're gonna hurt a thing. Water it in. Try to keep it away from the, especially if you're in the ground and you got the mother plant sitting there. Try to keep it, within 6 inches away. You don't want to get too close to the mother plant and where all the roots are and everything like that, because you can burn them. The roots are shallow, and you can burn these. I never have, or at least not that I know of, and I've fertilized them fairly heavy at times. So get after it, fertilize, and watch them grow, and then just wait for it next year. Should have a good harvest with all the laterals we're going to grow in the next month or so. I think it's going to help a bunch on the berry production next year. And I think that's about all I've got to say. All right, we're gone.